Students and teachers are marshalling forces against a new government that wants to cut funding to universities and make students pay more for their courses. There's much heated talk of the value and purpose of tertiary education. It's been years since so many people have taken to the streets in protest. It's just like old times.
Johnny's in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government. A man in a trench coat, badge out, laid off, says he's got a bad cough, wants to get paid off. Look out, kid, it's something you did, God knows when, but you're doing it again. You better duck down the alleyway looking for a new friend, a man in a coon skin.
Hey, the revolution cannot be effected until we have lunch. Champagne.
Maggie comes fleet-foot, face full of black soot, talking that the heat put planks in the bag, but the phone's tapped anyway. Maggie said the nanny said they must bust in early, they all understand. Hey, look out, kid, no matter what you did, walked on your tiptoes, don't tie no bows, better stay away from those who carry around a fire hose. Keep a clean nose, watch the wind blows, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows.
Thank you for coming. This is an important meeting. We face a critical situation at this time in our negotiations. We have had now 4 or 5 enterprise bargaining sessions where we have discussed a whole range of issues but have never once had an offer from management. As I reported to you last week, management undertook to provide us with an offer by Thursday or at the latest Friday of last week. And at 5 o'clock Friday last week, I had this message from the Deputy Vice-Chancellor responsible. Although I undertook at the EB session last Monday to exercise my best efforts to have an offer in your hands as early as possible this week, the complexities of operationalising the remuneration packaging and milestones elements have been greater than I anticipated.
In this climate of unrest, staff at Sydney University have called a stop work meeting. Academics have seen their salaries eroded year by year, till an associate lecturer now earns less than a high school teacher. For years they've been promised a pay increase, but nothing's happened. They've now decided to ban the marking of students' exams until the uni management offers them a pay rise.
The distress and the disruption to university operations would be lightened if the bans were lifted. The system is coming to a crisis point because it has been in crisis for a long time. And as I said to Professor Cram nearly 12 months ago now, we have got to stop pretending that everything is all right, and academics have got to stop saying, oh, well, all right, I'll do a bit more to help out. The system is at breaking point, and we must let it break publicly.
We are very angry at the incompetence of the management that they cannot bargain properly. These are people being paid a hell of a lot of money to run the industrial relations process in this university, and after a month they've turned up and said, we don't know how to do our job.
I think even if we extend the bans in a way which has very little real operational content, we should do it, because I think we must respond to their inactivity.
We're being asked to place the welfare of students above the welfare of this union and the members of this union and our salary. Unfortunately, it seems to me that at this time we need to say to the university and to some of our students and to some of our future students, we're very sorry, but you take second place at this point. It's as simple as that, and I'm prepared to say that this time round.
Meanwhile, time has run out for the students. The huge exam machine has started to roll. 800 exams are scheduled over the next 4 weeks in over 1,000 different courses. Nearly 100,000 papers must be marked and processed by the end of the year.
Now the supervisors will give out your examination papers. You may read them, but no writing other than the cover of your book.
Charles has somehow managed an unbroken record of high distinctions. It's not just his pride at stake if he slips up now. He must excel in these exams if he's serious about going on to do postgraduate work. Andrew seems to be doing anything but his thesis. He's still got another 3 weeks to finish it, but he's finding it harder and harder to concentrate. After dropping out and repeating last year, Cal is determined to get through these exams and finish second-year psychology once and for all. She's taken time off work and banned her friends from the flat.
So how are you being, Charles?
It's just so stupid. Like, it is absurd just how little I know about this. This is so, like, it's just laughable.
Tomorrow, I've got my first Latin paper, and then Monday's the first psychology exam. Wednesday, I've got the second Latin paper and education on the same day. And then Friday, next Friday, is the last psychology one. And that's it.
I mean, do you know anything about what Marxists have to say about the distinction between productive and unproductive labour?
Don't be silly.
Yeah. Worth a try. I don't suppose you do. What am I going to do?
You're not going to fail anyhow, are you?
Well, I don't know, it just depends. Well, I've missed like a huge chunk of assessment for Latin, so I need to get over 66 to pass the whole year. And I don't know, it just depends how hard the exam is. And then for education, I mean, I should pass the exam and stuff, but it just depends on whether they let me, hand in the essays late after the exams. And all it would take would be for one lecturer to say, no, you're not allowed to hand it in, and that's just a straight fail. So it's touch and go.
In the past, Andrew's suffered episodes of depression. His doctors now prescribe medication to try and prevent a relapse. He's so close to finishing, I wish I could find a way to get him out of bed and back to the computer. What have you got to do to get this thesis underway?
Well, I've got to finish reading the new book, the new Theorastly book, and then I'm just going to sit down and start writing. And I could normally do it. No, I can do it if my mood is all right. I just but if I'm down, I just can't do anything. I just can't do it because I can't concentrate. You can't concentrate, and your short-term memory goes completely to pot. You just.
Do you feel better today? You're okay enough today to write it?
Well, yeah, I feel much better today. I'll try. I mean, I'm gonna try.
I really don't understand Andrew's depression. He seems to have been functioning okay all year. Why is it all coming apart now? I felt there was something missing from the picture, so I went to see his mum to find out more.
That one? I went to a restaurant one night and it was sitting on that one.
Wow.
Really sweet, that photo, isn't it?
It's beautiful. He could really play the violin.
Oh, yes. Oh, he could, yeah.
How did you know?
That he was what?
Musical.
Well, when he was a baby, whenever some music came on, he'd start to jump around and his head would start bouncing around. And he's a small baby, I suppose, I don't know. But I think he was just bored, and the reason was I got him to play a musical instrument because I thought it'd help his boredom. We didn't really know whether he was all that musical.
Was he very different from your other children?
Well, he was much, yeah, and in some ways he was. And my other son, he was sort of never badly behaved. He was always very perfect sort of child, well behaved, easy child. That's a sort of similar one to that other one. He would absolutely have a fit if you showed him that. That was giving a speech at school when he was the school captain.
Which one? Oh, wow.
I know, isn't it funny?
Wow. So when did you realise that you had an abnormally talented child?
When he was 6 months old and he started to speak, he looked up and said, "Light? Light?" That's when I thought he was... And then when I was in the car, and he was in the little baby seat, he wanted to read the stop signs and everything. Then I took him up to book him into preschool, you know, the little... And the teacher up there had a thing on here and her name was Dorothy Pye. And he read her thing on here and he said, "Hello, Mrs. Dorothy Pye." And she said, "How does he know my name?" And I said, "He just read it on your thing there." And she couldn't believe it.
You must have thought, as you're holding this baby in your arms who could say the word light, you must have had some imagining.
Well, I sort of thought, and I taught him, I really stressed that everybody's good at something. Because I didn't want him to get swollen-headed. And I said, "Look, your little friend's really good at cricket. Okay, so you're good at reading and good at words." And he accepted that everybody's good at something, and that was his talent. So I think that's why he never ever became swollen-headed or over it. Yeah. What I did with him is lots and lots of after-school things, so he wouldn't get bored. Like he spoke French fluently when he was about 6. Because I got him some French lessons after school. I thought another language would be really good, and he absolutely loved it. I'd go and pick him up, and he'd be there playing Scrabble in French.
He was writing comedy when he was about 12.
Yeah.
3 years ago, within a month of his 19th birthday, Andrew was admitted to hospital where he spent 6 weeks receiving treatment for severe depression, including a course of electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT.
Yes, well, when he made his speech as school captain at the end of year 12, I knew there was something wrong when he made the speech. He made this brilliant speech. It was just fantastic, but there was these sort of undercurrents. He was sort of having a go at the education system and go at the teachers, and the teachers, a lot of them didn't pick it up. A few of them came to me after the speech and said, "That was the most fantastic speech." But I knew that there was something wrong that night when he made that speech. It just was a sort of... He was almost aggressive towards the school and the teachers and the whole education system. I noticed it first. I noticed it before Peter. I just noticed he was quiet at the dinner table.
But a lot of children go quiet in their teens. I mean.
No, I could tell that it wasn't him. No, he'd just stand in the middle of the kitchen and just look down at the floor, you know. And got a little bit aggressive, and that's certainly not him. He's not an aggressive person. You know, he loved school, loved his friends, was happy to go off to school. Yes, it was funny. I don't really understand it. Don't think anybody does till it happens to them.
realise now that Andrew's music is much more than just a distraction for him. In fact, I think it's the only thing holding him together at the moment. He's now got a job singing in a cafe, even been offered his first live radio spot.
Oh, we see Marie Antoinette, they left a smile upon her face. We see Muraro blasted, and they didn't leave a trace. And computer-generated music's digital embrace, and squabbles over who'll be first to blow their minds in space, and the back end of religion when all good families said grace. Oh, but I saw you and you saw me too, a safer place.
You sort of understand if you've come into contact with it yourself, personally. So maybe people in contact with me will then understand someone else. I'll say, oh, I knew this stupid, annoying, ugly boy who was depressed and kept grumbling about it and crying and begging me to come and visit him. That's what depression is, which it is. Yeah, but it does it. I don't know. When I'm down, it's my vocation. It's what I am. It's my job to be depressed. It takes up every waking minute of me just thinking about it. It's a good sign that I was nervous here though this afternoon, because it means I cared. Because I do care about the guitar and about my songs and that.
Thanks for letting me play. That was good fun.
The library's closed. The staff aren't working.
Back at uni, the bans have been in place for 2 weeks. To increase pressure on the uni management, staff and students have called a one-day strike. But not everyone agrees with this action, and tempers are beginning to fray.
I also deserve a pay rise.
Okay, well this isn't a way of doing it by not showing solidarity.
I tell you what, the quality of your education is going to go down even further if we don't.
This is a way of trying to make the quality of our education higher. We can't just keep going to work and doing it. We've got to
the availability of time to go on strike. I did. I went on strike last time. This time I can't. I'm sorry.
Turn around. Please just turn around.
University park.
You can park outside walking.
We can't come into the uni today. There's a strike on. So we'd appreciate it if you just
move that red flag from there.
No, it's a picket line.
No, you cannot cross the picket line. Excuse me. You cannot cross the picket line.
I have the right to come to the uni.
You cannot cross. That's violence. Excuse me. We've got cameras. If
you know that, read it.
Do you support the Howard's cuts to education?
I don't support anybody.
If you cross the picket line, it's tantamount to supporting Howard's cuts to education. This is a national picket.
Move! Move!
Job cuts now. 20% now.
Read the bit in the box there, that's really critical. The section.
What's the statement?
Yeah, we'll read the box there.
The Vice-Chancellor and his deputies are meeting to resolve the crisis. How can they give their staff a pay increase when their spending budget has just been cut?
I think is going to happen
especially in view of that statement in the Herald, you know, the thing that she said on the Sunday programme, is that there'll be a huge political lobby against allowing fees for Australian students, because of course all the regional universities will see that as a threat. So that not only do we have to be concerned about the flack with students and with Senate and all that sort of thing about introducing such a measure, we may actually have to fight for it.
Yes, yes.
Now it's a difficult position because there's a sense in which I don't actually believe in it.
No.
But if I'm going to have all my funds cut, then I need it.
You're going to need it. That's right.
The strategy of saying that the money has to come from the government and we will do nothing until it does, which is what the message is here.
Professor of Astrophysics Lawrence Cram has been given the tricky job of negotiating a deal with the academics.
I don't think that we can do any better.
Because you have to be the bad guy, don't you, Bet?
I have an obligation to the Vice-Chancellor to protect him from being the bad guy. I think that the really important thing for me to do is to make sure that I get a very accurate reading and then I just stick to it in terms of what the university's strategy is. I've got academic colleagues in this school, for example, who find it difficult to talk to me now because of the way that the union, well, my view at least, is that the way the union's portrayed some of the things I've said and done has misled them into thinking that I'm really the bad guy.
We were anticipating they may have an offer for us then and we would just take it and go away. But I think what we'll have in the meeting is an apology, followed by a discussion on how they see the remuneration packaging going and maybe what they see the quantum as being, and at that point we will probably go away and spend some time ourselves looking at what they're suggesting.
The man assigned to represent academic staff in bargaining with the management is a Doctor of Theology, Paul Whiting.
How's it going?
You heard?
You're talking to a journalist?
Yes, talking to the Herald.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, they ring every day at this point because they've got bans are spreading around the place, and University of New England, the Vice-Chancellor has just resigned. And so, here's me, Paul Whiting. Evan, how are you? Nothing. Nothing. We have agreed to meet with them this afternoon, nevertheless, because they're going to talk about how they would like to package the remuneration offer in the new enterprise agreement. I don't know what that means. I mean, it probably means you're going to be offered a digital phone and I'm going to be offered a motor car instead of a salary rise. Knowing my luck, mate, it'll be the other way around. You'll get the car and I'll get the digital phone. And I don't know what that does for our associate lecturers. What are they going to package for them? But I don't know. We'll go in there and talk to them about that. We'll hope that they will be realise their ineptitude enough to apologise for not having got the offer when promised. And they don't seem to have it for this afternoon either. They're bringing with them the person who's worked on the salary or remuneration packaging, they call it. So we'll wait and see what that means. We're meeting at 2, and certainly there's no question about the bans staying on. They're staying on.
I mean, general academic staff.
As expected, no offer from management.
You've got to remember that in areas where
Professor Cram is stalling. Confident time is on his side. But the academics have been waiting for a pay rise for nearly 3 years now, and their patience is running out.
Now, as I explained, Paul, I do regret not being able to make the best efforts commitment that I made at last week's meeting. What I can't do is take a risk of coming to this table with an offer that contains an error, and we need to understand that they're not going to send the university broke. Okay, well, I'd like, if it's possible, to plan another meeting next week on Monday.
Lawrence, what are we going to actually do at the meeting?
I don't know.
Well, I think it's time we did know. At the last meeting you mapped out what seemed like a shape of what we could expect. We now have nothing, and you're keen to make yet another meeting without knowing what
All right, we can do it another way. We can let you know when we should have a meeting.
From our point of view, the university has not been very proactive. When all the Vice-Chancellors stood out against the cuts, whose photograph was missing? The Vice-Chancellor of Sydney University. And I said to him, this staff expects some leadership of the kind that says from its Vice-Chancellor, I will stand up and fight for the academic staff and the quality of this university. He didn't do it. Now, you can't expect us to be very sympathetic to the position of, I don't say our present Vice-Chancellor, but of Vice-Chancellors generally, when we see that they have not put the pressure on. What we need to try to do now is to bring such pressure to bear that the Vice-Chancellors will do what they should have been doing all along, and we hope the government will see this is a very serious situation. And we are serious about it. We're not playing with a 19.7 claim. It didn't come out of the air, and it's not an ambit claim. And, I mean, those who think it's a joke had better think again.
Can we have a few minutes?
Yeah. In fact, everyone would appreciate the door open or at least the windows open, I'm sure, but this is a terrible room. Not having any expensive miles go.
We've just got to remember to close. The alarm didn't go off.
This is a good sign or a bad sign?
They're going to come back and lay down an ultimatum.
That's okay. They lay down an ultimatum once every 2 weeks, last year for a year.
We just set a meeting, don't we? And then if we can't produce it on the day, we set another one.
There is nothing worse they can do than in terms of the bans that we've got on at the moment.
Well, it'd help if they walked out. We could save some money.
Well, there's a concept. I actually use that in health a lot. Yeah. The CEO used to say to me, can we have a 2-day strike? We're not meeting our budget. But Lawrence, if they come back and say, if you don't do X, then Y will happen, we'll see what Y is. But the reality is, for the university's point of view, at the moment, the bans on exam results is the worst thing they could do.
It's like a shot.
Final year students.
Sorry to keep you, but I just thought we'd check out what you think about that. Look, I think probably the best thing to do is to set another date for a meeting, and perhaps then at that meeting or before that meeting, we will send you our draft agreement for you to look at. You can endeavour to have your clauses formulated for that time as best you're able, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, well, that's right. And the US banks sort of followed the US trade.
It's the morning of Charles's exam. Having missed a whole year of lectures, he calls his university professor father in a last-ditch attempt to save himself from public humiliation.
I'm going to say Gavin Butler, who will be marking the exam, so it should put in his little thesis, which is that surplus, the fact that you had sort of half a regulated system, that in actual fact Bretton Woods, propped up countries that were running deficits. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. I'll see you later. Bye.
So what's your dad's advice?
He said, don't break out into hysterical laughter at any point, because he knows, I think he knows I'm in a bit of trouble.
So what time did you get to bed, Carl?
3. 2:30. 2:30. Wasn't too bad.
What time did you get up?
6.
So you're going to do this exam on 3 hours sleep?
That's good, 3 hours. It's almost a record.
Are you in economic social zones too?
Yeah.
God, I could have had fun at the lectures. What lectures did you go to?
Afternoons on Monday and Tuesday and mornings on Wednesday. Would it make any difference?
I'm just thinking actually.
Hey, this Kel and I always say every time the exams come that we would quite happily fast forward the next 2 weeks of our lives and lose 2 weeks just so that we didn't have to go through this. I think I've locked the keys in the car. Oh no, I haven't. Oh shit.
Now we're getting away with cheating now, isn't it?
Hold on.
You're sprung for good. I'm watching.
Andrew's just made the hardest decision of his life. Just days from completing his final honours year, he's decided to pull out. On his doctor's advice, he's going to give up everything and admit himself to hospital. It means coming back and doing fourth year again in 12 months, but it's his best chance to get completely better.
That's good to have contact. Yes. And you've got any other
Right, this is for...
Hi, I just wanted to ask, I've got a... I wonder if I could discontinue, like I'm in fourth year.
You're in fourth year.
But yeah, so you've added up.
Yeah. I want to discontinue now on medical grounds.
Sure.
And you've 100% made up your mind to go ahead and do this?
Yeah. I have to now because today one of the essays is due in. I haven't done anything for it. There's no question, I've got to do it. I mean, because I think the only way to sort of get over, like I'm sort of halfway into the depression at the moment, sort of, or 3/4 of the way in or something. And the only way to get over it is to drop everything and just get over it. Just completely sort of quit everything and, which is what I did 3 years ago. I just had to stop everything and go into hospital completely and just get better. And, I'm not going to get any better unless I just get better now. I'm not going to sort of... It doesn't go away if you keep on living normally. It just gets worse.
Right. The personal details on your report. Read the paper by all means, but don't attempt anywhere.
All you're allowed in this exam is your writing materials. If anybody has any unauthorised materials, please put your hand up. I'll take it and return it to you at the end of the exam session.
She'll let you know when you have 10 minutes remaining, and that final 10 minutes you'll not be permitted to leave the exam room. Would you like to start right here?
This is a 2-hour examination finishing at 11:30 by this clock. Nobody's to leave the room during the first hour or the last 10 minutes. If you finish after the first hour and you wish to leave, remain seated and put your hand up, please, and somebody will come and check your paper. You may start, and I wish you all the very best for your exam.
City 1. Thanks very much. Bye. Can't just open that. Hey, but, so what are you having to talk to Elizabeth Webby about? About all the stuff?
About dropping out.
And have you not told her yet?
No.
Oh no, what's she going to say?
I don't know. Now.
See you, Andrew. Good luck.
See ya.
While students have their heads down with exams, last year's graduates are invited back for their formal graduation day. The guest speaker is one of Sydney University's most prestigious old boys, Prime Minister John Howard. And when a Conservative authority figure meets idealistic youth, everybody expects sparks to fly.
When the procession arrives up on the dais, and he will just come straight into his seat. And that way he won't stick out. If he's standing up here, before the procession comes in, he's a shag on a rock.
Yeah. So if you wanted to position somebody up through the Senate room windows,
like there's a
phone working handset right there, and they can just observe and they can contact anybody without disruption.
And in the event of some, let's exaggerate it, somebody attacks and stabs the Prime Minister, well, she's going to have to let us know, and we'll have to have cavalry and all that on the way. So that's the only thing. I want to make sure that the radio link is not very far away from where the Prime Minister is, at least in constant sight.
The Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor are to meet the Prime Minister and escort him to the Senate room to be formally robed for the ceremony.
Do you want me to read?
The visit is a rare chance for senior academics to catch the Prime Minister's ear. A meeting with staff has been scheduled for after the graduation ceremony.
Is he going in that way?
I've lost him. He's in the custody of the Federal Police. I just got a call. I think we'll go straight up to the Senate. If you could just go to the Senate room.
Don't you think we should wait for him?
No, he's gone. I think he's going over. We got
oh, right. Okay, right.
Did you?
Yeah. Hey, get some more police in here.
Attention please. We'd now like to form the procession for this morning's ceremony. As most people have done this before, no, this procession forms in two parts.
As I sat and watched the degrees being conferred, I reflected upon that day more than 35 years ago when I walked up and received my degree in this very great hall. I have to say that my arrival on that occasion went a little unremarked. There were quite a number of other differences. So the world has changed an enormous amount, and yet there is a delightful continuity in the ceremony that we have participated in today. And it's a reminder that although certain things change constantly, other things remain the same.
Do you want any more uniform here, or you want to go to the Great Hall? I'm setting it to the Great Hall.
Words got out of the campus confrontation. Protester numbers are growing by the minute. The meeting with staff has been cancelled, and police have called reinforcements to try and get the PM back to his car and on to his next engagement.
Protect you from the educated.
Okay, see you later.
expelling Howard off campus. They were very angry.
Here today have highlighted not only student dissatisfaction with education cuts, but also, crucially, the Prime Minister's personal security.
How'd it go? Another job well done.
For the peaceful protest.
You get anything?
Nice, you know. Got plenty of stuff. Can't miss that. If you missed that, there's something wrong with it. Did you get it?
If we were to offer $20 a week, that corresponds to using 2% of our salary budget. And I think the Vice...
After a month of meetings, Professor Cram has devised an ingenious pay offer.
Without the
It's the GPOF,
It's wrong,
and I
okay.
think I've got it right.
Okay.
Helen Ross and I are just trying to figure out whether we've got the right number of bodies there.
Okay.
But it's got to be nearest, damn it.
Mhm.
If we offer $20 a week, that's almost 5% for these people, and it's 1.3% for these people.
Mhm.
So you get a little wedge of increment in there that looks like that. Okay?
Yep.
He hopes the academics will be forced to accept it, even though it's much less than they want, because of mounting pressure from students who need their results to apply for scholarships next year.
It's a very differently structured offer from the way we understood you were going to make the offer. What happened?
Oh, I didn't. Sorry, what did you understand?
We did talk about the importance of upfront salary increases because this being a catch-up claim, as the Vice-Chancellor agrees, and needing to have the payment up front rather than in little bits, maybe perhaps if something happens down the track. And I thought at that stage that you said yes, you recognised that, and in conversation with the Vice-Chancellor this had come up. So it really led us to expect an offer of a different kind from this. So that's why I was interested in what had happened to interrupt it, because obviously there was quite a hiatus last week when, or the week before, when the offer was not available, when it was going to be available, and then I was just interested in what had produced the difference.
Well, I don't agree that there is a difference, and so it's probably best not to discuss that. I think that if you pursue that line, you've already put into my mouth words that I haven't used, and I don't want to pursue that. I mean, I'm not going to defend myself or anything. There's nothing about this offer that hasn't been talked about from the very start.
We'll present this to the members on Wednesday. It's going to be very hard to represent to members that a $20 a week increase is anything other than an insult. And not that I will say that, I will not say that. I've been thinking hard over the weekend, how will the members react to this? And I wouldn't be at all confident that they would want to lift any bans. In fact, my fear is that they will want to put further bans on.
Well, we'd appreciate you using all efforts to lift the bans.
I can't recommend that on the basis of this offer. I won't be able to recommend that.
So be it.
I will, I guess. Okay, should we have another date?
No, I don't think so. I think we'll wait and see what happens.
All right. Thank you.
This writing will hands down and is remain in the room until all the papers are collected.
I've finished my exams.
Well done, Carl.
Thank you.
Well done.
I'll be a lot happier when I get my essays done and then I have nothing to worry about except the results. Which I'd be quite happy if they never came. Should we go?
Yeah.
you want to put some radio on? No?
Oh, no.
Richard Glover.
Yeah.
Last time when I brought you in hospital, you wouldn't talk at all and you just played loud music on that. Really loud music. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Loud music. I didn't play loud music.
Yes, you did. You had it loud on there. And you didn't talk to anybody.
Oh, I'm not as sick this time.
No. Oh, no. Can't park, that's the problem.
It's actually a very beautiful one to get in. So if you want to go for a swim.
So I really don't want to go for a swim.
Okay.
The uni year has ended. It's been 6 months since I started filming, and Charles and Anna are still together. Well, sort of.
This is Australian summer. And this is why.
Why what?
Australia is so good.
The pay dispute dragged on long after students left campus for the holidays. Maybe it was Christmas spirit, but in the end, Sydney Uni found the money to offer its academic staff a 12% pay increase. This they accepted and finally released the students' exam results.
What did you do? Did you pass?
In the history of education.
Oh my God.
Oh, well, I'm so very sorry that I made you just slightly embarrassed that time in Her Majesty's Theatre. I can't think what to say. And I'm so very sorry that I...
Charles surprised everybody by getting a credit in his exam. In fact, they all seemed to do okay, despite the year's many distractions.
You've become a habit in my head. Hey, girl, how about you try living in the world? Hey,
After 3 weeks in hospital, Andrew recovered well, though he was still writing rather bitter ballads about being dumped.
oh, well, I'm so very sorry that you're sick to death of those angry young man songs, but that doesn't mean there aren't plenty of good ones around. And I'm so very sorry to rise up against you at that shooby-doo dinner, but since then you've not given 1 inch of your ground. You've just become a habit in my head.
Who can tell what these people will make of their lives? But whatever they end up doing, I'm sure they'll never forget the time when each moment seemed so sweet and intense. The time they spent at uni.
But you get to the center like no one's ever done. I'm so very sorry. I'm so very sorry. Well, I'm so very sorry that there aren't enough people in the world to sustain you, and I wish there were 3 billion of me, but there's one. And you've become a habit in my head. Hey, girl, how about you try living in the world? Hey, strange, why don't you start caring for a change? Hey, girl, why don't you try living in the real world? Hey, strange, how about you start caring for a change? Ooh, girl, it's not so bad here in the real world. Hey, strange, you should try caring for a change, 'cause it's not so bad here in the real world. Hey, girl, hey there, strange, why don't you just care for a change?
Thanks, Mitch. Thank you.